Welcome back. Today we're taking you on a journey through the heart of India, exploring places and stories that rarely make the headlines. We're peeling back the layers of this incredible country, not just the vibrant culture, delicious food, and colorful festivals, but also the hidden struggles and untold stories that shape daily life for millions. In this video, we're uncovering 15 dark sides of India that most people never see or even hear about. Issues that are often overshadowed by the country's beauty and energy. This isn't about pointing fingers or assigning blame. It's about understanding the full reality of a complex, diverse nation with a rich history and a challenging present. From environmental crises like pollution and drought, to deep-rooted social issues such as inequality, poverty, and discrimination, these are challenges millions of Indians face every single day. Some of what you'll hear will truly shock you, and some stories may even break your heart, especially the last one, which is rarely discussed. Our goal is awareness and empathy. These are real problems affecting real people, and understanding them is the first step toward change. Let's dive in and see the India you've never seen before. First up, child labor. It's a crisis that often goes unseen, yet it's all around us. Every day, millions of Indian children, some as young as 5, are forced to work in dangerous, exhausting conditions. Instead of learning and playing at school like they should, they spend long hours in factories, fields, and even hazardous industries like fireworks, risking their health and safety. Their small hands weave carpets, pack matches, and harvest crops, while their dreams fade away. Although laws exist to protect them, poverty, lack of awareness, and weak enforcement keep this cruel cycle alive, making it hard to break free. For many struggling families, sending their children to work isn't a choice. It's a matter of survival, a desperate attempt to put food on the table. These children are robbed of their right to education, play, and hope. Instead, they're trapped in a cycle of poverty and hardship from the very start of their lives. It's a heartbreaking reality happening right now, and it demands our attention and action. Air pollution in India's cities is among the world's worst, with levels of toxic particles far exceeding safe limits set by the World Health Organization. Every year, the air grows heavier, and the health risks become more severe. In Delhi, simply breathing can be as harmful as smoking dozens of cigarettes a day. Residents are forced to wear masks and cover their faces, but even these measures offer little protection from the invisible threat. Toxic smog from vehicles, factories, and crop burning turns the sky grey and chokes the streets. The sources are everywhere: cars idling in traffic, factories belching smoke, and fields set ablaze after harvest. Schools close, flights are grounded, and millions suffer from respiratory illnesses. Hospitals fill with patients struggling to breathe, and daily life grinds to a halt when pollution peaks. Long-term exposure leads to heart disease, cancer, and shorter lives. The damage is often irreversible, affecting children, the elderly, and those with pre-existing conditions the most. For outdoor workers, there's no escape. Day after day they labor in the thick haze, risking their health just to earn a living. Air pollution is an invisible killer, claiming hundreds of thousands of lives each year. Its impact is silent but devastating, leaving families and communities in mourning. Water scarcity is a crisis for hundreds of millions in India. Cities like Chennai have run dry, while rural families walk miles for a single pot of water. Contaminated water is often all that's available, fueling disease and keeping girls out of school. Overuse, poor management, and pollution have turned mighty rivers into toxic streams. For many, getting clean water is a daily, life-or-death struggle. It's a crisis that deepens poverty and inequality. Despite economic growth, India has the world's largest population living in poverty. Hundreds of millions survive on just a few dollars a day, struggling for food, shelter, and basic dignity. Slums and remote villages hide the worst deprivation. A single emergency can push families into crippling debt. The gap between rich and poor is vast, and hope is hard to find for those at the bottom. Poverty is the root of many of India's darkest challenges. Corruption is a daily reality, from government offices to basic services. Bribes are often needed for licenses, permits, or even to access public aid. High-profile scams steal billions meant for schools and hospitals. Everyday corruption hits the poor hardest, blocking their path to a better life. It erodes trust and makes every other problem harder to solve. For many, cheating the system feels like the only way forward. Gender inequality remains a huge barrier for women in India. Discrimination starts before birth, with millions of girls never given a chance at life. Those who survive face less education, more violence, and fewer opportunities. Harassment, domestic abuse, and underrepresentation in power are daily realities. Women are expected to sacrifice careers and freedom for tradition. Half the population is denied its full potential. The caste system, though illegal, still shapes lives, especially for Dalits. Discrimination means millions are forced into degrading jobs and denied basic rights. Children face bias in schools. Adults face violence for challenging their place. Invisible walls block social mobility and opportunity. Centuries-old prejudice can't be erased by laws alone. Human trafficking is a hidden epidemic in India. Millions are trapped in forced labor, domestic servitude, or the sex trade. Victims are lured with false promises, then stripped of freedom and dignity. Children go missing by the tens of thousands each year. Rescue and rehabilitation are daunting, as fear and trauma run deep. It's a shadowy underworld that destroys lives in silence. Nearly half of India's population lacks access to a proper toilet. Open defecation spreads deadly diseases and contaminates water. Women and girls face extra risks, waiting until dark and risking assault. Government campaigns build toilets, but cultural habits and water shortages persist. Many new toilets go unused or fall into disrepair. The fight for basic hygiene and dignity is far from over. India's youth should be its strength, but unemployment is soaring. Millions of educated young people can't find jobs, leading to desperation and unrest. Even advanced degrees don't guarantee work. Competition is fierce for even the lowest positions. The private sector can't keep up, and agriculture is struggling. Frustration drives brain drain and social instability. The promise of education is broken for many. Farmer suicides are a heartbreaking crisis in rural India. Crippling debt, failed crops, and high-interest loans push thousands to despair each year. A single bad season can mean ruin for an entire family. Government support is often out of reach or inadequate. Each suicide leaves families deeper in debt and grief. The people who feed the nation are themselves starving for hope. India's megaslums, like Dharavi, are home to millions living in extreme conditions. Overcrowded shacks, no clean water, and open drains make daily life a struggle. Disease and flooding are constant threats. Yet, these slums are also centers of industry and resilience. Residents power the city, but remain forgotten by development. The contrast between their contribution and their living conditions is stark. India's religious diversity is a source of pride and conflict. Tensions between communities can erupt into deadly riots, often fueled by politics and misinformation. Social media spreads hate, and mobs target people based on faith. Minority groups face growing discrimination and violence. Issues like cow vigilantism have led to brutal attacks. Rising intolerance threatens the nation's secular fabric. India has the world's largest population of illiterate adults, over 280 million. Poor quality schools, overcrowded classrooms, and absent teachers keep kids from learning. Many drop out, trapped in poverty, and low-wage work. Illiteracy limits opportunity, health, and access to rights. It's a cycle that's hard to break without real investment in education. Closing the literacy gap is one of India's biggest challenges. India's wildlife faces extinction from ruthless poaching. Tigers, elephants, and rhinos are killed for illegal trade worth billions. International syndicates use brutal methods, outpacing conservation efforts. Forest guards risk their lives, but the slaughter continues. Iconic species are pushed to the brink, threatening biodiversity. The loss of wildlife is a silent tragedy for future generations. These are 15 of India's darkest realities. Hard to watch, but vital to understand. Awareness is the first step toward change. Brave activists and citizens are fighting these battles every day. Our role is to listen, support, and stay informed. Change starts with conversation. Let's keep it going. If this opened your eyes, subscribe for more stories that matter. Thanks for watching.